Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing somewhat of a review on the Gerber Gator Pro machete. It's something that was gifted to me around last Christmas, and I haven't really used it much because I didn't really like the style. But this past week I've been going through some thicker brush, and I'm actually really starting to like this. So we'll get to testing it in a little while, and I'll explain a little later why I like this a little bit better than a regular machete in certain types of brush. But yeah, so to start, comes in a very nice sheath. It's very well secured. There's a belt loop up on the side here, so if you want to keep it on the side of your person. One thing that I absolutely love about this is in this little pouch right here, it comes with a little sharpening stone, which I'm trying to see. I think it's only one grit. I'm not really seeing a difference from one side to the other, but you can see I've used it on that side a little bit more. But that's one thing that I absolutely love about this machete. So if you're out in the field and say you're deep in the woods somewhere and for whatever reason your machete starts to get dull, you can take your sharpening stone out that comes on this case, and you can go sharpen your tool and go right back to work. So I really love that about this. So opening it up, just a Velcro securing strap, and then in order to take this out, you almost got to cock it to like a 45 or 90 degree angle, and then slide it right out. As you can see, I've been using this a bit lately. I can say it definitely feels really good in the hands. There's a nice protection lip right here so you don't slide your hands past there and cut yourself on the blade. Sorry, trying to get in position of the camera here. It's kind of hard to look at the camera and focus on your hands too. But yeah, one thing that I absolutely love about this as well is it has a wrist strap. I think all machetes should have a wrist strap, just an added safety factor. And I will say the other thing that I really like about this machete is, unlike a typical machete, the blade on this is sharp from here to about here. And this last inch and a half or so is not sharpened. And additionally, on the other side, the only part that is sharp is this little hook right here. And the tip right here is not sharp too. And the great thing about this is machetes can be very dangerous. It's very easy for you to cut or to hit a loose piece of vine hanging down, and it could very easily bring a straight strike down into a sideways turning strike that could ultimately cut you. So the great thing about having the tips not sharp is, say for whatever reason, some accident were to happen, you'd be a lot less likely to suffer some type of cut or serious injury due to these parts being non-sharp, if you follow me. So yeah, that's pretty much it about the tool. I'm going to sharpen it a little bit because I've been using it a lot today, and then we'll take it out and put it through some tests. So this is the area where I've been working today. I cleared out all this brush right here, and I put it in a pile right there. I'm gonna let it dry for a couple months, and then I'm probably gonna burn it in the campfire. But what happens with these bushes, they're kind of like weedy bushes, they just keep pushing back and back. And the problem with bushes like this is you can't use a chainsaw safely on it. The branches and twigs are too thick for you to use a pair of regular hedge trimmers. You can use loppers and, you know, little hand pruners, but you're going to be here a while, and also it's going to be kind of strenuous on your hands. So this is definitely where a tool like this comes in handy. And the reason why I like the Gerber Gator Pro so much is actually because it had this hook. This was originally the reason why I didn't like it, but the difference is with this hook as opposed to a straight edge machete, especially when you're going through thicker brush like this, what happens when you're using a machete on or when you're using a straight edge machete, what happens, you hit the branch and it can bend and it can get out of hand and you really don't have much control, and the stick can go anywhere. There's no way to control the blade to keep it focused on the stick, if you kind of catch what I'm saying here. However, when you use this this hook on the side here, when you go to cut this, a couple things happen. For one, when you're cutting this hook will actually hook around the branch, and so you'll get a more circular cutting motion and therefore cutting through the twig easier, in my opinion. And additionally, you have much better control over the branch, and the blade stays focused on the twig or branch that you're cutting. There's nowhere for it to really glance to. The only thing it can do is move around a little bit, but you pretty much have full control over that branch, if you kind of catch what I'm saying here. I really don't use this straight edge much. There's really not much purpose for it. You know, if you're next to like a stump or a tree trunk and there's a couple little branches, very small branches, you could just slice those real quick, but I really don't use this too much. Real quick before we get over there cutting, another thing that I'll say, funny enough, as I was walking over here, I know we talked about this belt loop earlier, about 10 feet behind the camera, this belt loop actually broke right off. You know, it's just nylon, the stitching just pulled right out, so I've never used it before, so I wasn't doing anything crazy with it, but definitely don't count on the belt loops. But otherwise, I think it's a great sheath for what it does anyway. So let's get over there and let's start cutting. Okay, of course, before we start cutting, you always want to have some type of safety apparel on. You want to have gloves. I have work boots on and jeans right now. And when I'm using this thing, I generally try never to pull or slice towards me. That's kind of very dangerous. It's not kind of, it is pretty dangerous, so you want to try and avoid that as much as possible. You'll also want to be aware of any kind of loose branches. Say I'm going for something back in here and this slips for whatever reason. It's very easy for the machete to kind of glance off, but I'm not as concerned about this one because, again, I have a lot more control, but it's just something to be aware of safety-wise, so get this branch out of the way. Want to make sure you have a comfortable working environment. So let's try this thing out. So first I'll go on the flat side and see what I'm talking about. We just sharpen this thing. You can kind of get an idea on the blows that I'm giving this thing right now. And it's just kind of going down, it's bouncing around. So, I mean, it did cut through it with a little help from me, but it wasn't that terrific. Now, if I go to the other side here, to this hook that I really fancy, I just cut off a couple chunks of that like it was freaking butter. I can go down a little bit. It just broke right off. Let's see if you can see where I'm seeing right now. Go through some thicker stuff. You get an eyeball on that. I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you here. Carefully. Alright, we're both looking at the same one, right? So I'm going to go down. I'm going to go towards me, but I'm really far away from this right now. So I'm very safe. That one took a couple more because it was a little bit thicker. Let's go through it again. That went right through it again. Second time. What else we got back in here? Where can you see me? Go through that branch. Went right through that. Again, as you can see, it just maintains control through the branch and it'll go right through it. It's really kind of hard to do a point of view video of me actually cutting the way I would cut and explaining to you how I use this at the same time, and I'm sure it kind of looks different on the camera. But overall, I think this is a great tool. You can see by the pile of brush I have over here that it's done a ton of work. And I just think it's a great tool for doing work like this. Play around a little bit. This is about the limit of this. It's a little loose right now. Let's see if we can cut through this with the hook. It's a little shaky too. I'm gonna come up this time and it should come off this time. Maybe the next time. There we go. We need a couple strikes, probably 1.5 inches. It's green wood, but it's pretty hard. It's starting to get to fall, so it's drying out a little bit. Let's do the other thing, or let's do it again, but this time let's use a straight edge and see how many hits it takes for us to get through that. Now we're losing a lot of energy because this is bouncing around. Again, using the straight side, I don't have as much control as that hook. There we go. So as you can see, I think it took probably 4 or 5 hits going through the hook. Probably took more around 10 for the straight side, so it's another reason why I endorse the hook. Let's keep playing around. I feel like you guys aren't completely satisfied yet. Alright, let's keep playing around a little bit more. I think you can see me. Let me adjust the camera a little bit. There we go. So I have this branch I want to cut right here. I cut away from me. Goes right through it like butter. Grab this branch, cut it away from me. Right through it like butter. Butter. Going right through this stuff. You can still see me, right? It's just so great how much control I have over this. Another great thing too, as you just saw right there, cut a big chunk right at the top there and I couldn't really reach it. This hook is actually a great tool to pull pieces that you cut off the top of bushes too. So it's just like another foot of extension off your arm. You still see me, right? Right through it. So I think that's a pretty good demonstration of what this thing can actually do. I highly endorse it. Again, the thing I really like about it, other than the control you have over the branches, which is a very major thing, if you were to get some type of deflection off something or whatever, the most likely spot that you are to hit yourself are on the corners right here, and these are not sharp, so I think it's very safe in that aspect. Again, you have the wrist strap. And I just think it's a great tool. Highly endorse it. I'll leave a link to this in the description below. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. Let me know what I could be doing better. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more.